Geek Fitness.
Hey everybody, Robert here. Welcome to the third episode of Geek Fitness. And today I want to talk about the second most important thing that I did to get on my journey and lose 66 pounds to date. I am still on my journey. I estimate I've got another 30 to 40 pounds to lose, depending on how much muscle I can put on over the next few months. I'm expecting it's going to take another few months. But this thing is, I think there's some people that can lose weight without doing this. I know there are, and there's certain strategies that don't really include this, and you can be successful losing weight without doing this. But studies have shown that people who do this when they are working on losing weight are 30% more successful in losing weight. And it's something that you can carry on into the maintenance phase as well once you do hit your goal weight. So that's very, very important. You want to keep the weight off. So what this is very simple. It takes some honesty, and it's something you have to do every single day, and that's track your calories. You've got to track how much food you're taking in, and it's much easier today than it used to be. I use an app called MyFitnessPal. There's lots of apps out there that you can use. There's websites you can go to sign up and track your daily intake of food. MyFitnessPal works on an Android device or an Apple device. And it's great because you can just enter a food and it will pre-populate most of the time. If it does not, you might have to enter some stuff. But usually, any food that you can think of is already in there with accurate counts as far as how many calories that food has, and then the macronutrients that comprise that food, how many grams of protein and fat, and all the way down to the micronutrients, how much sodium does that food have, how much magnesium, all that stuff can be tracked for you. But the most important thing that I want to get across is the calories. The very basic foundation of losing weight, and I don't care what diet you want to do, if you want to call it a diet, what lifestyle changes you're going to make, whatever plan you want to follow, I believe any of them can be successful if you apply them, right? It goes back to my very first video, was having a purpose, right? You need to have a purpose, and you need to be motivated, and you need to stick to your plan to be successful, right? But any plan will work. It's just a matter of getting started, and you can do it. You just have to start and hold yourself accountable. And calories is really the foundation of this. You have to take in less calories, or you have to expend more calories than you're taking in. So, increasing exercise, you're going to burn more calories, right? So that's one way to get to a deficit. The easiest way, and the way I started, was just to reduce my caloric intake, but more importantly, to track them. Because if you don't know what you're taking in, you don't know. And lots of people might have ideas, they might guess, but you can't guess. Because there's there's lots of people who they have no idea what a portion size is. That's something you're going to have to learn. Do you know how many calories are in an apple compared to an avocado, compared to a chicken breast, compared to 6 fried chicken wings? Those things are important, and you can't have all that knowledge in your head for every food that you might eat. So having an app like MyFitnessPal lets you know exactly how many calories you're putting in your body. So you track them on a daily basis, and this is important. You can't cheat, right? You can't leave things out. If you have a giant slice of cake, you can't say, "Oh, I had 1 ounce of cake," right? That leads me to another thing: is you've got to, if you don't know, you should have a scale, and you should weigh your food if you don't know, right? Restaurants, I think you want to avoid, but you can go to restaurants and still lose weight as long as your caloric deficit is there, right? And restaurants are actually easier with something like MyFitnessPal because you'll find that a lot of the dishes, especially for chain restaurants, are already out there in the application. So if I enter, like an artisan chicken sandwich at McDonald's, it will tell me exactly, it's 420 calories and it has all the information right there, right? Now, when you go to a restaurant that's not a chain restaurant, that's a little more difficult. So because you don't really know what they're putting in the dish. Did they use butter to cook it? Did they use olive oil? What else is in this dish? You're not really sure. So you might not be accurate. So because of that, I think when you're dieting or when you're getting on a plan to lose weight, when you start your journey, you want to avoid those situations as much as possible. However, there's things you can do, right? When you go out to a restaurant, you can make healthier choices, and you want to choose things that are easier to track in your application, right? So if I go to a seafood restaurant, for example, I don't want to order, the seafood, casserole, right? Because I don't know what's in it, right? I don't know if there's butter, cream cheese. Now I can ask, but then I'm trying to guess the proportion sizes, and I'm not going to be accurate. But if I order, for example, half a pound of steamed shrimp, that is one ingredient, right? And it's steamed. So I know I can enter a quarter pound of shrimp into my app, and it's going to be a very accurate calculation of the calories and the macronutrients that are in that shrimp, right? You don't ever want to drink your calories. That's very, very important. And that's the first thing you should do once you start tracking your calories on a daily basis is don't drink anything that has calories in it, right? It's going to be hard enough to make the right choices as far as the food that you're eating and to stay under the goal that you set without drinking them. So do make sure you don't drink your calories. You're going to want to eat, and every calorie is going to count. And the less you take in with lattes or fruit juices or sodas or any of that stuff, like they can be a lot of calories, and it's processed sugar, like bad calories. Avoid that. You want to avoid that because you're going to want to get good, nutritious food in your body because you're going to be on a deficit, right? And that's something you're going to get used to. So the question becomes, how many calories can you eat? And I'm going to put a link in the description that will take you to a website. You need to figure out what your BMR is. That's your base metabolic rate. That's how many calories you burn every day without doing anything. So if you're not doing any exercise, you're just not doing anything but living, that's how many calories your body is going to expend just keeping your vital functions going and keeping you alive, right? So it's based on your weight, your age, right? Your height. You put all that, maybe not height. I think you do put in your height. You put in some basic information, and it will tell you how many calories, and they're pretty accurate. They're not going to be exact, right? But you just want to get within, you want to know the ballpark. Do you need 2,000 calories a day or 2,500 calories a day or 1,500 calories a day? Or maybe you need 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day. All that stuff, your weight, your age, whether you're a man or a woman, they all go into this calculation. So you need to figure that out, write it down, know what that number is. Then you want to reduce that number by some amount, right? So let's say, for me, mine's very easy. My base metabolic rate right now, my BMR, is about 2,000 calories a day. So if I did no activity, I would burn 2,000 calories a day. So I've been on a plan. My plan has been 1,500 calories. So I don't go over 1,500 calories in any day, right? And then I've lost weight pretty rapidly because I've added exercise into that too. So that's on top of that. So if you reduce your calories, you don't have to do 500 deficit a day. You could just if it's 2,000, you could do 2,000 and add exercise, right? And you're going to lose weight. Or you could do 1,500 and not add exercise, and you're going to lose weight. Or you could do 1500 and add exercise, and and that's recommended, right? And then you're going to lose weight quicker and be healthier, right? So there's other benefits to exercise besides just losing weight. You don't have to do 500. You could do 200, right? But then again, if you're doing the less amount that you're doing every day, the slower you're going to lose the weight, and the more accurate you have to be when you're entering your calories. If I've got a 500 calorie deficit I'm doing every day, and I mess up and maybe I overshoot by 200 calories one day because I entered something wrong, or I or I went to a restaurant and miscalculated how many calories were in the dish that I ordered, then I'm still going to be in a deficit, just not as big of a deficit. So you need to know what your BMR is. Very important. You need to always have that in the back of your mind. Then you need to download an application that lets you track your calories every day, and you need to track every single calorie that goes in your body. If you stay under the amount of calories that you've set, you're going to lose weight. Period. You're going to lose weight. Now, I'm going to talk later in later videos about things that make it easier, or the kinds of foods you should be eating. All that kind of stuff plays into this too. Like you want to eat vegetables. Everybody knows you want to eat vegetables. But when you're on a caloric deficit, it's even more important because you need that nutrition because you're getting less calories. And also vegetables are very low calorie and they fill you up, right? So, but I don't want to go crazy on stuff and recommendations for you. The important part of this video is the second most important thing I've done is start counting my calories, know what is going in my body every day, right? And then making sure that I'm staying under a target goal that I've set for my daily caloric intake. So that's it. That's the second thing you have to do to lose weight as on the Geek Fitness plan. So hopefully this was helpful, and on the next one I'm going to talk about the third most important thing that I've done, and it's not, again, I don't think it's something everybody has to do, but it's definitely something that has worked for me, and I'll share that with you next time. I hope you're enjoying these. Got a lot of feedback on the first video I did, not a lot of feedback on the second one. So if you're getting anything out of these, let me know. Comment, like the video, share the videos, click the bell on YouTube. I'd love to keep doing these if they're beneficial for people. If they're not, I'll probably just stop doing them. Because there's a lot of better things I can do with my time, but I'm hoping this is going to help some people. So please let me know if it is. Thanks.